Initialize cyber hack. Let's escape reality.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the IFT Town Hall. It is July 11th, and thank you all for being here. And hopefully, you enjoyed our intro music once again. If you do not know me, my name is Christian, and I am in the comms department, and I run these streams on occasion. Today, we've got a couple of demos, which is really exciting for everybody. The chat is really interested on this XP thing. But focus, guys. We're talking about IFT projects, and we're going to start with Alex. He has a presentation on Status Mobile.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm actually from Status Desktop, but today I want to talk to you a little bit about Status Mobile. And as you may already know, Status Mobile is on maintenance mode right now. It means that it won't receive any more features, so only bug fixes and things like that. But it's not all lost, and this is what I want to talk to you about today, and it's about a new Status Mobile app. And this this new app is basically Status Desktop that has been ported to mobile platforms, and we've been working on that for some time now, and we have adapted it for small screens as well. So what can you expect from it? Basically, you can expect feature parity with Status Desktop at some point after the initial rollout. Currently, there are some features missing, and it's very much work in progress. Then you can expect the same release cadence as Status Desktop, and the UI of Status Desktop to be adapted for small screens. Now, what will it be missing, at least on our initial rollout? We won't have keycard, unfortunately. We won't have dApp support, push notifications, maybe biometrics we won't have, but all these things are coming in the next releases after the initial rollout. And we won't have community creation, probably not in the near future. The community creation is a bit more complicated because you'd have basically to run a control node on your mobile device, and I guess nobody wants that. So yeah, let's jump into the demo. Christian, can you help me with the video, please? How do I set it from the beginning? Okay. Okay, so this is Status Desktop on mobile, and I'll show you here a bunch of flows. The first one is syncing my account, my profile on the mobile app. I've hidden that part on purpose because it's my key there. Okay, so we're syncing. There are some hiccups here and there. Please bear with me. The account I'm using here is literally huge with, I don't know, billions in assets and uh, um, collectibles and countless communities and contacts and things like that. So there will be some hiccups. This is the new home screen for the mobile app. And now, right now, we are going into wallet. It's going to take a little bit. It's also syncing in the background, so it's going to load in a second. Okay, so this is the main mobile wallet view. We'll have some swipe views. So, for example, that was the list of all accounts. Then you can go into each account and so on. The actions, we will have the same actions that we have for Status Desktop, just adapted to the mobile layout, and communities as well. As you can see, it looks similar to the desktop app. It's just adapted a little bit for small screens. And contacts, the same. It's the same story here. Settings, we have a swipe screen here as well, so you can do all the things that you can on desktop, like setting up your profile showcase, adding communities for others to see, accounts, collectibles. The featured communities view. So now we are going to go into the onboarding for a new account. And the onboarding is it's quite similar. It's just the difference is that here you're going to type a new password and there the syncing key for your profile. Okay, back to the home screen. As similar, just less cards in there. an empty wallet. So we are going to send contact request to myself to the other instance of the app. Cool, and that worked well. Accepted the contact request, and now we can start chatting. But what I'll do here is to send a payment request to my other account. So this is the payment request view. So you can select whatever you want to receive on which account and so on, and just send to your contact the payment request. So please bear with me a little bit after this step, because it took a bit to receive the payment request. The profile was still syncing in the background probably, and I'm just mumbling in the UI here. I don't know if I can. Oh, I can skip actually. Okay, I can avoid wasting your time. That's great. Da, da, da. Okay, and I received the payment request, and this is the send view for that payment request. I have all the info that the sender filled in here. And then I can review the send and accept it. I won't send anything because then you'd see my password here, and we'll avoid that. And moving forward, I'm going back to the wallet, which takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to skip that part. Okay, into the wallet, and you'll see the collectibles view. Cool. And with that, we can end the demo. Christian, can you please switch to the presentation? Thank you. Okay. So how can you get this app that you've just seen? There are two ways of installing it right now on your device. We don't have CI for that, and we don't have signed builds yet. On Android, it's quite easy. You can download the latest artifact that we have in the repo. Uh, we have some GitHub actions there for Android, but for iOS you'd have to build it locally, and you can run this on your phone or your tablet as well. And if you're interested and you've done that, we are going to be monitoring the feedback mobile channel. So please join there in Discord or status. And if you need any help with the mobile app, or you want to build it yourself, I'll just be happy to help on that. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions? Put them in the comments if you do. All right, looks like we don't have I don't know what you're trying to say. What is this?
When keycard? Keycard is gonna be in the first or the second release, I think, something like that. It's a bit tricky to get it, but we will do it as soon as possible.
Okay, looks like that's it for questions. Thank you, Alex. We are going to move on now to Nick with the a presentation on BI. And if you don't know what that is, you are about to find out. So here is Nick.
Hello, nice to meet everyone. First of all, let's start off with a quick Q&A. Has anyone heard of the BI team? Yes, no? Let's pop some stuff in the chat. Great. Yes, we've got 2 yeses. Yes. Fantastic. Okay. Kind of. Exactly. Okay. Yes. Anyways, no. Exactly. So that's why we're here. To showcase you what the business team is. Stands for Business Intelligence Team. And I'll walk you through a project that we've been working on. It's a RAG system. Basically, it's a chatbot that anyone can use after I finish this demo here. And you can ask it like any related questions, and we'll get into the details in a bit. So first of all, just start with a quick presentation. Everybody knows Jacob. He is the infrastructure overlord. He deals with all of the issues. Usually, if, oh, do you know the BI team? And you say no, you say, oh, do you know Jacob? They're like, yes. Oh, I'm part of Jacob. Okay, great. And everybody kind of figures it out. Then we've got Alexis, who is the head of the BI team. We operate in infrastructure. And I'm Nikolai, Nick, whatever you want to call me. Usually just I go with Nick because some people always love to mispronounce it and say Nikolai or whatever. And I'm a data engineer, and I'm doing also ML related projects. And we've also got Claire, that is the other data engineer, and she is the SQL wizard. Alex on the other side, he helps us out with all of the DevOps stuff and getting everything sorted out. So today's agenda is quite straightforward. First of all, we're going to start off with what the problem is and why we're even here when it comes to this RAG solution. We're going to go over what we've built. I'm going to explain to you what quickly RAG is, what the current setup is, give you an overview of what the data is that we've collected so far, a quick demo, and then the next steps moving forward on how we can improve it. So I guess everybody has this problem with, where's this? Where's that? How can I get this? You know, everybody works async, everybody works remote. We've got a lot of different sources, and it can get messy very quickly. So what would be a good way to like try to make everything work together? Well, if we have some kind of chatbot that you can actually interact with your data. Now, we present to you Terry, which is Corey as a service. Basically, instead of going and spamming to Corey like, oh, can you tell me this? Can you tell me that? And he's just rage quitting like, oh no, I got so many questions. You can ask Terry. Terry will try to help you out as much as he can. Now, Terry works with simple questions, so you can't really go on with very complicated stuff, and it will try to like look up what it actually knows. It doesn't have internal memory, meaning that if you ask a question and then you already ask another question based on the previous one, that won't work. It's kind of like you ask one question, you get an answer for that, and you move on. If we want to make a whole chat like ChatGPT and any of these LLMs, that will be additional virtual RAM, and that's quite a lot of resources. On the other hand, he's also very transparent, and he will tell you on the go what he does at every step at a time. We've also integrated a REST API connection. We have built the documentation, and we will keep you all up to date on Discord. on the progress. So if you need to integrate it within your application, it should be quite straightforward. We also have a Python wrapper as well, but because other teams could also work with just the API itself, we provide documentation on how to actually access it. So basically, the gist of it is, if it gives you a bad answer, most probably the data is bad. So you can reach out to that person and tell them like, oh, this documentation is kind of crap. Can you like fix it? And then when they fix it, Terry will automatically pick it up. Not on the spot, but we've got another process that will do that. So first of all, let's go over like, what is RAG? Well, it stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. You've got two parts, retrieving and generation. Retrieving basically means, well, you ask a question, you look at like what books you want to take, and then you just start opening the pages and flipping through what's the most relevant thing. And the generation part is where the LLM part kicks in, and it starts reading that information, and it tells you, oh, this is what the information is, this is what your question is, so I'm going to give you an answer. It kind of starts off where the LLMs finish. So for example, LLMs can hallucinate quite a bit, and if they haven't heard of any of our projects or whatsoever, then that would be a huge problem, and we can't ask it like relevant information. So to fix that, we have to do RAG. Instead of like making stuff up, we also provide all the resources that are based on the questions, so it's quite easy for you to follow its thinking pattern. So the current setup is, we've got the open web UI, and on there you'll be sending chat messages, and even if you connect with the REST API, you are doing the connections to open web UI. From that point onwards, you will, under the hood, it will just query a database. That's Quadrant. It's a vector database, and behind the scenes, async Daxter will run, which is one of our data processing tools for orchestration, and that will actually deal with updating the knowledge. Yes, it is exactly Corey GPT. So if anyone wants to contribute in adding additional knowledge to Terry, if you have a Notion page that you think that's actually useful, feel free to go in your top right corner. I don't know if we can zoom in here somehow, but where the little red square is, then you're going to have a little drop down, and you're going to have the connections tab. And from that point onwards, as long as you find Petty NAN logos, it should automatically be picked up by Daxter, and then with time that will get put into Quadrant, and that will be updated with Terry. So if you ask it, it will be able to do it. Here's a quick overview of how it works. It's split into like three parts, and we'll also give you a demo. So when you ask a question, behind the scenes, we send a query to Quadrant, it fetches some data, and based on that threshold, we'll get more into those in later sessions and how it works. It will tell you like what it's doing at every step, and how many chunks it's actually fetched from the data. And then based on that, it will start expanding them a little bit before and a little bit after that specific point. And then after that, we're going to give that to the LLM, which in this case, it is DeepSeek, the 32 billion version. And finally, we're going to provide you the answers and all the references that were based on that question. So the current data setup is mostly Notion pages. That was quite fun to deal with. It was a pain of itself. We got blogs that are on different websites related to any of the IFT ones. We've got the infradocs GitHub, so that's infra. We've got CFT, which is the contributions free technology website. And then we've got Datadocs, which is ours. Markdown docs are really appreciated. Yes, exactly. Everything is. Infra, CFT, and data, those are from GitHub. Markdowns do come automatically, but when it comes to blogs, well, they come from HTML. We do the conversion. It's not that hard. There are already tools built for that, which is amazing. But then Notion becomes kind of tricky because we have to do everything manually and reverse engineer the process, make sure we get all the data. So what do we do with the data? Obviously, all of the chats that you will have with Terry, they're going to be monitored, but we're not here to stalk you and tell you off like, why are you asking this question? Why are you asking that? No, we're here to help you. By looking at this information, we can get a better idea of what you guys want, how we can improve it, and how we can carry on from that point onwards and see what's a higher priority and so on. Even if you have like a suggestion, we're more than welcome to taking any feedback. So one of the important things that will be your name. Based on your name, we'll be able to determine from which team you are and then what kind of down the line privilege you will have. So like, let's say some data could be restricted to just some parts of the organization and so on. That's up to them and how they want the data to be. Chat history gives us an overall idea of what we should like focus on. So that's what you've messaged, what the LLM's given. It gives us a good idea of, okay, is it actually a problem of the input or is it the output? Also gives us a better understanding of how well the answers are structured. So if you don't really like the outputs of the answers, we can always try to improve that. The overall activity, that will give us an overall idea of what resources we will need overall for running it. The more people we'll have, obviously, if we don't like scale up bit by bit, it will keep getting slower. So that's why we need that. And created kind of helps us also with hardware scalability. So the more people that come, then we have to obviously like go up when it comes to hardware. So now I'm going to show you a quick demo. I've actually got a couple of questions ready already that we can ask Terry. So yeah, I am going to share my screen. Can we switch the screen, please? Thank you. Okay, so this is Terry. And as of now, no one else can use it. It's just me. So we don't like crash Terry and we can actually show the demo. We can ask it any question when it comes to IFT itself. So the first question that I've actually got in mind is how to test and Waku on status. And then we're going to press enter and it's going to tell you what's happening. Now it's in streaming mode, meaning that on the go, it will tell you what's happening. So right now it's fetched 2 chunks, and expanding chunk context means that we're going to fetch some chunks before and after those selected chunks. And now the LLM is going to do its magic and generate an answer. And there you go. Gives you an answer. Now, depending on how detailed you want it, you can also try to specify it, but those are also things that we will monitor to improve performance and so on. At the end, you do get the resources. So if you click on the resource itself, it's going to open the Notion page if you have access to them. But some pages, for example, you won't have access. On others, you will. If you don't, you'll have to speak to the person who can grant you access to the page. So you can see, oh, it's going from this place to that place and so on. Second question that I've actually got in mind is more related to the contributions free technology and the website itself. So we're going to ask it like, up to how much USD can you spend on a laptop under the standard budget ? And it fetched 3 chunks. One thing that it's also very important to notice is that it will give you the confidence score of that resource. So for example, it will tell you, okay, so based on your question, this is how confident the database feels about this source and so on. The threshold is something that we control, and that's why we have set like a threshold that it should be, the higher it is, the more confident it is. Also, if you click on the links, they will showcase what the link if you have access to it. Okay, so now we're going to ask it something more related to the blog itself. How much does a key card show cost? And it will give you, there's another answer. So it tells you like, oh, current key card show costs €99. That information is as of June 2025. Why? Well, because we've actually fetched that from the latest blog. So that is something that we monitor as well. What was key card? Why was key card built? I'm just gonna fix my typos because I like to be polite to my AI. No particular reason, just because I like to be polite. And there you go. You get an answer about why was actually key card built. And it tells you, oh, here are the resources that it put. Obviously, if we had more resources that can contribute to that information, the search would also work a bit better. Now, a final question that we've got in mind is also related to Status Network. And it's a little bit more tricky, I guess. Like people from Status Network can say like, oh, if it is or it's not. You guys tell me, drop it in the chat. It's XP native. And as of now, we're just waiting for an answer. Obviously, we can always like drop the model down, make it smaller, but that won't give you as an accurate answer as it would with a slightly bigger model. So it is still something to compensate. So if you focus on like speed, then you're kind of gonna lose that accuracy a bit. So here's a demo of what Terry is. And let's go back to the presentation. And walk you through what the next steps are for Terry. Well, we've got a lot of things planned up, and we will be more than happy to hear what you guys think as well. So first thing is obviously, based on what you've entered, we're going to try to improve it. The questions that actually are used the most, that will be most our highest priority, because we should get a better answer for those. Then we're going to focus on team-specific questions and what their needs are. Down the line, we also want to add more data sources. So right now, as I said, we've got Notion, GitHub, and the blogs. We can also add the IFT town halls and ask it for like some kind of input on, let's say, oh, what happened like in this town hall, can you give me an update? And Terry should be able to give you an answer, you know, because there are a lot of town halls and everybody can be available or not available, and maybe getting a summary might be better depending on your needs. Also, project documentation, we've got that in mind, but obviously if you guys also have like any resources, feel free to drop them. The logos map, so everybody can stop asking like what is logos all up to all the time, and we can just ask Terry, and Terry will be able to answer the same question like over and over again. Down the line, we will also integrate it with our internal data sources. So Claire right now is working on a part of Terry that is for questions and answers on our database. So you can ask it a question and it should be able to produce some kind of chart or give you like an overall answer. But, you know, she will get into further details down the line when her demo is ready and we can integrate it. Yes, Discord support is definitely on the to-do map. Obviously, we want to be able to make it as efficient as possible, but also making sure that it's used and it's necessary, because Discord will add additional pressure And first we want to see, is it even worth like bothering going that path? Agentic support, a word that's used a lot, and we're not planning to like you just throw it out there and not actually like stick to our word. So in our case, Terry should be able to, if you give it like some kind of task, ask it like, oh, Terry, can you help me out with this? And so on. These are very generic things right now, and it will really depend on which team you are from and what kind of access you need. Also, you can help us out with fine tuning. How can you do that? Quite straightforward. Well, if you give us some resources that you're fairly confident that they're spot on written, meaning that they won't change and you won't be like, nah, this is not exactly right. I might have to change it. Like, oh, you're drinking your coffee the next day and you figure out like, maybe I should change it. If you have resources like that and we haven't integrated it, you're more than welcome to tell us like where we can get that data and we can train it. How is fine tuning going to help us? Well, simple. First of all, it will be way easier for Terry to identify the projects itself and what they are and what their niche stuff are. Second of all, maybe the answers can improve as well. Third, if you want to get additional like resources and better questions, and your questions are rephrased in a better way according to IFT standards, that can also definitely help. So yeah, and now we're on to the questions part. Throw them out. Okay, if what would be a good way to actually start with, because there were quite a bit in the chat.
We put them up as they came up. So the one that's up there right now for you about the documents is the latest question.
If documents written using DeepSync, then using this writing documents with Terry, it won't be able to write a specific document. Most probably it will be able to help you understand something. If you write LLM, if you actually write your question and give it to an LLM, and then you put it in a document, if it's good data, it will contribute in a good way. If it's bad data, then we'll have to like rethink it, and that will most probably not really work out. But if you want, you can give it a shot as well. What is the approach to maintaining data freshness? So it really depends on the resource that you have. We definitely have a lot of Notion pages. Some of them are quite dynamic, depending on who's using it and so on. If you start adding Terry to different pages, we'll have to pick it up. As of now, so Notion would be on the last edit. If there is an edit on a page that we already have, and the edit is more present, we will just redo that page. If you are on GitHub, we'll actually see what's the latest commit. On GitHub, one thing that we should just also mention is right now we are doing a specific branch. We're not doing all the branches within the GitHub repository. We're doing a specific branch. So if you're doing a test branch and then you're merging it, and then we should just focus on like the main or master branch. That's pretty much it. We're going to check, for example, like master branch, make sure, is that up to date? Okay, is that different from our data? If it is, if it's got like a fresher timestamp, then yeah, definitely that is something that we have to redo. When it comes to the blogs, we have backend access to them in the sense that we can see when was it actually created. So obviously we can add new blogs, and if it was edited. So like, let's say, we've added the previous version, but now we have to do the new one. We can always integrate that as well. Currently, they are integrated, so there won't be issues with data freshness. If anyone spots anything, more than welcome to give it a shout.
Any more questions, anybody? If you got them, just put them right there in the chat. All right. Looks like they are done. Thank you, Nick. That was a really great presentation, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of Terry. So thank you for that today.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. It is the end of this town hall. We will be back July 25th is the next one. If you want to be a part of this, please do, because we want to know what everybody's working on. If you have a demo, if you just have an update, anything and everything that you would like to share, please let us know. Other than that, we will have the link to this if you want to rewatch. We'll also have all of those links that were shared that you couldn't quite click on, but all the info that you'll need, we will be sharing later today as well. So thank you for joining us, and we will send you back out with the music.
Initialize cyber